tube and that entire reservoir at that point was filled with water, I could come back a week later and be fine. Plus, since the water's trapped in there, you're going to have less evaporation generally because it's not exposed to the elements.
And no nematodes.
And no nematodes. You know there are also good nematodes, just so we're on the same, they're not all bad nematodes. Some of the nematodes are, well, yeah, our soil's loaded with the bad ones, so. So that is, okay. That's yet a solution that's $7, $8 maybe at max to build, as opposed to $54 for an earth box. So figure out what you want to work with, how handy you are, etc., etc.
So the strainer's inside the top bucket,
Yep.
and the water through the strainer wicks up to the soil in the top bucket.
Correct.
How do you know?
Everything in life should be very simple and not so complex. I'm a firm believer. The more complex you make it, the more chance you are going to have of really crazy things. And I mean, if you go out to like Laos and Vietnam and Cambodia and you look at them freaking guys working the rice paddies and stuff like that, I mean, there's a freaking ox and, you know, people. And
the irrigation runs down.
exactly, it's all terraced and the whole 9 yards, and it's very simple concepts that make that work, and millennia of them figuring that out to make that work that way. I would actually ask you all to start looking at your own stuff more on a simplistic note. I mean, the buckets are here, a drill and a hole is easy enough to make. Why are we going for a really crazy, you know, thing when you could, this will work like a charm? And I do a lot of charitable work, different kinds of charitable work. And I do it for schools, and I do it for, I'm not Catholic, and I had a lady that was Catholic that had her kids in a Catholic school go, you need to make this nun. She's your people, you're gonna love her. Old Irish nun from Ireland, you know, so I go, yeah, whatever, give her my number, have her call me. So Sister Kathleen calls me, and I told her, you know, if I see one ruler, I am so out of there, I am so gone, you know, and she's like, no, come on down, you're gonna love me. So I went down, I met her, and she was everything I was hoping she was. Really down to earth, very easy to chat with, easily engaged, and extremely super green and eco-friendly and wanting to do the right thing. So she asked me, what can I do, what can I do, what can I do, what can I do, what can I do to make this work easier for me, since I was volunteering. I didn't ask her for a dime, I didn't want a penny. Put the kids in front of me, I'll do a couple seminars for the kids, talk to the kids, etc., etc. 300 and some odd kids she put in front of me, which was great. Building raised beds, getting all kinds of crap growing, put in a spin barrel composter, everything's rocking and rolling. What else could I do? I go, you know what you could do? You could go Sunday and ask your parishioners to bring a whole slew of these. I said that, and no joke, Monday morning she called me up, there's this freaking pit of buckets back there. I'm like, wow. I was like, that's pretty impressive. So, because I opened my big mouth, I'm like, okay, well, I took my tools and I started drilling them, whatever. We had a whole ton of these things, and we had kids planting in them. So, it's not limited to one, you know, and I had them doing the upside down tomatoes. I wanted them doing everything that these things could do so that they could see it with their own eyes, that this is doable, this isn't out of our reach or out of our realm or impossible. It's very doable. That covers my earth box, yes sir?
How do you know that you haven't put too much water in there? Do you have like a little
Well,
drainage hole?
you know, this is the beauty of Mother Nature. You ready? She will never take more than she needs. We keep screwing her and she'll never screw us, would be the other way to say that. That won't wick up more water than it wants or needs. Now I'm going to say this.
No, what I'm asking is, once you fill that, let's say you're putting water down that tube.
Right.
Your reservoir gets filled up.
Right.
How do you know when it's full?
Well, that's a great thing.
Because you could continue to put water there and go up through the stream, right?
No. You fill the water, and the water, once it hits the dirt, won't keep going up through the dirt. It'll just start coming straight up the tube.
Okay.
So once it starts leaking out of the tube, you're done.
Gotcha.
Because you're not gonna wait and let this thing sit for a half hour, an hour. You're gonna just do it at one time. You're gonna pour the water straight into it, right?
Gotcha.
And the minute you see that start coming out, you're done.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have diagrams and instructions in here how to do those and the things that?
No, but you could call me and I'll walk you over it, or jet me an email and I'll definitely walk, either one, I'll walk you over it.
Okay.
Some of these things I'm starting to put online. So if you went to my website, there is a picture of, and bear with me, I just rearranged the packet, so I'm getting used to a new packet with new stuff on it. I stayed up late last night to put together something that was practical and useful for you people, even though I had never met most of you.
I know,
My
we're
pleasure.
lucky. This is a lucky seminar because
There
the
you
last
go.
one you had your old stuff, right?
Right. On page 4, my pleasure. On page 4, you'll see in this bottom corner here, the Alexandra box. And it's called the Alexandra box. It's vermicomposting. Because I make mine out of wood. And a lady that went to one of my seminars, it's about my age, mommy of 2 kids, the whole 9 yards, named Alexandra, lives down in Hollywood. I've spent quite a bit of time with her and her husband putting together stuff in their yard. And she called me up. She's one of my usual suspects. She calls me pretty frequently. And she's like, hey, I'm like, hey, what's up? And, you know, she goes, I got an idea. You know, I just bought this plastic bin at Target for $11. Could I turn it into a vermicomposting bin? And when are you going to be down in Hollywood again?
Oh, wow.
So I went, you know what, Alexandra, I don't really know. I know I'll be down there sometime next week, blah, blah, blah. Don't do anything. Let me see this thing and we'll talk about it. So I rolled by, I saw it, and I go, absolutely. She's explaining it to me on the phone. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't it work? And she's like, are you sure? And I go, you know, don't do anything, don't drill anything, don't start molesting the box and doing all kinds of crazy stuff to it. We'll figure it out when I see it, and it's either going to work or it's not. So I go down to her house, and I go, it'll definitely work. I go, it'll definitely work. And she's like, really? I go, yeah. So I go, I start reaching in my pocket looking for money, and I'm like, can I take this thing? And she's like, no, take it. You know, it's $11. She goes, take the damn thing, and just when you figure out how to work it, if I get you the stuff, make me one. I'm like, okay, fine. That's even enough trade. I can deal with that. So I do make my own rain barrels. I do make my own spin barrel composters. I do make my own vermicomposting bins. I do make all these things that you'll see on my website. I had 5 extra minutes and some extra parts, and I go, it's time to start screwing around with Alexandra's little vermicomposting bin, the Alexandra box. So if you go under vermicomposting and you click on it, there's a video of me doing the whole vermicomposting, that bin. And it says the Alexandra box. I told her, you know, I'm hoping that in like 10 years, people in Northern California will go, hey dude, you got an Alexandra box? Like it becomes like a buzzword and just goes worldwide and becomes like viral in nature, and everyone knows little Alexandra in the middle of Hollywood that came up with this one great idea. So, yes ma'am.
Can you use I'm not familiar with the vermicomposter, but can you use that if you can't have a spin composter?
Mhm.
Okay.
So let's talk about it while we're on it,
Oh, I do it.
since we're looking at a picture of the bottom of it. What you're looking at, and I meant to bring it, and I could shoot myself for it. I was going to bring this actual box, and I don't know why I didn't, other than I was thinking about 9 million things as usual. It's a chest of drawers, for all intents and purposes, okay? 4 drawers.
Oh,
This is like the stuff they sell at Walmart. Yeah, I got one.
There you go. You got a vermicomposting bin, you didn't even know it. So, what I have on there, that spigot that you're looking at is a 3/4 inch spigot. And what I used to affix it through the hole was 5200 marine adhesive. Caulk. For boaters, they would all know what 5200 is. So, exactly. So, Stop it, that just didn't sound right altogether, but, I love that answer, so, yeah.
Where's the 5,200 go?
5,200 goes on,
Around it.
Just
and
see
I'm
it
done,
down
right?
There's no thread.
There are threads on the back of this spigot,
Oh, yeah.
so right around it, you can actually see it on the edge, right around that spigot, that
I
white.
see it now.
Yeah, that's 5,200.
That's 5,200. I'll never ever again.
No, that's okay. So, everyone wonders why I love doing seminars so much, because you just never know what's going to be said.
That's
So,
cheaper than that cone.
What's the cone work just as well?
yes, sir. It shouldn't be a problem.
5,200 is very expensive.
It is very expensive, but you know, I'm putting this thing together for the first time.
What about Gorilla Glue?
Well, that's great. If you look at my actual one that I put, because the front of these drawers are clear and worms do not like the light, they're going to want dark. Gorilla makes a tape, believe it or not, just the glue, and I put black Gorilla across the front of those boxes to obscure the light. So, yeah, I mean, there's a million things that'll work. I'm just telling you what I used to work. Now we're talking about carpentry and not necessarily vermicomposting. So, for those of you that are talented with tools and silicone's going to work. You know, if you're pretty comfortable with this kind of stuff or Gorilla Glue, I can't imagine Gorilla Glue not working. I mean, you could damn near hang a kid on the wall with that stuff. So, you know, I mean, it's pretty solid stuff.
I know a woman here in the bureau that has a vermiculture bin that she bought already, just the, you know, it's all black and
Right.
there's different levels and stuff. Is
But
this-
it wasn't $11 at Target. I almost bet money
And then
on
with
it.
all the other things that you have to buy for this?
Yeah, the spigot costs like 87 cents, $1.50 maybe. The caulk maybe another $1.50 if you're getting silicone as opposed to 5,200. It's not going to be real expensive. $2, $2.50. And then you shouldn't be in 15, 20 bucks max. And I don't think that lady in Vero, whoever she is that I don't know in the realm of wherever.
I have one, it's 200.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. Okay, so now that we're on the same sheet of music and we just had somebody level the playing field, because I was going to jump at a number of about $1.75 and go, the real numbers are somewhere between 175 and 250, 300. You can be in 500 quick, depending on, and you start scaling up and getting bigger, and these things can jump into the thousands. So, on that note, I'm going to go, you know, figure it out. Whatever works for you. I have 20 holes on each side of each. Exactly.
This is a smaller version.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Show us how.
Thank you.
20 holes on each level?
I think I got them at Sam's.
Sam.
So I'm going to come out if you don't mind.
Can you get the deeper ones?
Right, mine, the one that Alexandra gave me is deeper. So on the bottom of the drawer, I punched 20 holes, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 rows of it. Okay? Yeah, I used quarter-inch holes. Because I want the worms, yes. Will the castings fall through? Some of them will. But you've got to...
I'm gonna ask, when you drill, does it matter about the smoothness? You have to sand it down to the worms get, you know, hurt by jagged.
Just the hole.
You gotta deburr
Aren't they
the
crawling
holes.
through the holes? Don't they crawl
Right,
up?
yeah, they do crawl up.
Yeah.
Here's what the worms do so that we just understand the general concept. My bottom drawer, I didn't put any holes in because I don't want anything dripping out of it except right here is where I bored the hole for the spigot to come out this way. I want this to collect the worm juice. Worms will create a juice while they're doing that thing they do. So, there we go, exactly. So,
That's worm pee.
there we go. So, it's going to drip down, it's nutrient loaded. You're going to want that. And you're going to want that to go back into your rain barrel or directly onto your plants or something. It is good stuff, so don't let it go to waste. The subsequent drawers above it are the ones that are going to have the holes in it. So you're going to put a bedding down of shredded paper and the scraps from your dinner last night, the cuttings off of the carrot and
Eggshells.
The onions, that stuff, right, exactly. So you're gonna throw that stuff in, you're gonna throw that stuff in there, and the worms are gonna start going for the food. Now, if I had this bin here and I put food all the way where the doors are back there, believe it or not, the worms will go for the food. I don't know how they know it or what little alien antennas they've got going on to tell them where the food is, but they're gonna find the food. So what worms won't do is stay in stagnant water. They don't like being flooded. They don't want to drown. They're going to want out of the water. And they will not swim in their own crap forever. So when this thing starts looking done, and looking done looks like a lot of BB pellets that are black, is I guess the easiest way to say it. It's a little bit bigger than a BB, and it's not as smooth or refined as the BB or anything like that. It's jagged, and it looks like little pebbles of blackness and happiness and joyness and happiness of black stuff. There you go, castings. So when it starts looking like that, the worms need a new source of food. So what you do is, and these drawers are always shut, you move food up to this one. Since it's got the 20 holes in the bottom and bedding, the worms will come up to the food. Then you can take this one out, empty it, and get rid of the castings on your garden and utilize the castings that way. Chase them up and move it up. You can do as many drawers as you want. The 4-drawer system that she had, as opposed to 1, 2, 3, 6 drawers, I would work with a 4-drawer system and be happy all day long. And those drawers are a little bit bigger. They're like this big. And I'm going to find a lot of happiness in that, as opposed to a lot of smaller drawers. It'll work the same. It just seems like I would, if I did anything with this, I would do 2-drawer. These 2 drawers are active. These 2 drawers are active. Then this one at the end would be active. And you understand what I'm saying? And still leave the bottom one as the juice one.
And then ultimately the top one goes back down to the bottom.
Precisely. Then you take once you've worked all the way up, you move the food all the way to the bottom, and the worms will come down to the food. There is another way to do this. There are 2 methods to do this. The other method is a box like this, like the one my stuff's in. If we laid it out like this, and we literally divided the box in half visually, okay? And I've got this half of the box and this half of the box to work with. If I took 1 by 1 cube squares of wood, okay, about that big wood, and I created a frame, a picture frame, on this side and another one on this side, and I ran wire up high, wire this high, from the ground up to like this high, and then ran another wire this high, and another one off, 2 wires on each picture frame. Are you with me? They're handles, is what I'm using them for. And then across that picture frame, I took chicken wire, and then I took chicken wire and laid it at an angle to make those holes tight. Does that make sense? I could throw the food over here in the bedding, have the worms mill it and turn it into vermipoop, and then when I needed to move the worms, I just moved the worm food over here. The worms all move over, and I pick those 2 handles up, and since I've got that mesh screen under it, it's going to pick all the compost up with it. Then I let them work over here. When I'm done, then I move it back over here, and you just have them chasing the food side to side, side to side, instead of up the drawers and down the drawers. Either system's going to work.
And what about the juice?
Then the juice, like I said, you should be putting on your plants or
No, but
into
I
your
mean,
spin barrel.
it would be in the bottom.
I have that other type. I have a spigot, the 3/4 inch spigot on each side. And what I do is I tilt the box a little bit so the juice flows right to the spigot, and I'm not lifting the entire box up. I mean, after doing this kind of work, and not this kind of work, but all kinds of work, you should be more kind to your bodies than most of us are, and not be lifting crazy amounts of weight for the hell of it. So I just tilt up the box to get all the juice to flow one way. And I have 2 spigots. It's fairly lazy. My box is big though, and that's why I have the dual spigots. It's much bigger than this. Yes?
About on average, how long does it take to go through a cycle, so to speak?
Well, that's not a fair question. To be honest with you, there's not an average and there's not a cycle. It really depends on how much stuff you're. I'll give you a number. Ready? You know the Breakers Hotel in Palm Beach? Ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Breakers Hotel in Palm Beach generates 3,000 pounds of debris a week. Of plant debris.
Right.
Cutting, clippings, 3,000 pounds of it a week. Where you're sitting is about 8 feet between the wall and there. A little more, maybe a little less. They've got a bin that's about 1.5 of those doors, the French doors going out, okay? That sits. They have 2 of those bins that handles the 3,000 pounds of debris a week. Does that help?
Yeah, wow, goes fast.
Goes fast. So those 2 bins that are only 1.5 size that door, sitting in an area about the size of that little alcove, ingest 3,000 pounds a week, and they don't overfill. It's handling it.
Right.
They're not ditching anything beyond that.
Okay.
It is amazing. They are God's little special creatures, not us.
Yeah.
They're perfect. So,
Yeah, just like you.
Where do you get the ones?
www.yummyyard.com.
Bait shops.
So, bait shops, your backyard. You're going to want to be with night crawlers or red wigglers.
Which is better?
You said you can use.
I don't have a preference. And that's another debatable thing. I personally, I don't have a preference.
You said you can use newspaper if you don't have grass clippings.
Yeah.
Wet.
Shredded
It's
newspaper.
nothing toxic.
Make sure it's wet
It's
newspaper.
not toxic, the print and all. No.
I don't know, I'm not a paper
It can't
guy.
be the colored
Right,
shiny
it can't be the colored
pictures.
shiny paper and
So get a shredder.
Well, it has to be the black and white,
newspaper.
not the shiny flyers.
So you have to shred it in a shredder.
You just tear it,
You
You tear it, right, exactly. Be a human shredder.
but get it wet.
Give it to a kid.
I hear you.
Those are human shredders.
I have a question that really shows my ignorance about this.
No,
Gotta
everybody starts at ground zero,
ask.
right?
That's right, that's
Right.
exactly.
Everybody starts as a white belt and then you work your way up and you become a black belt in karate, right? So, go ahead.
I get raccoons.
Okay,
Around my house.
great segue. Ready?
Yeah.
So let's talk about magical formula time.
Goody.
Yay! Dollar store, right? Spray bottles. That bottle right there, down there, that one right there, your bottle, yes. Can you hold that up? You know a spray bottle about that big? Like a real regular spray bottle, like what Windex comes in or something? Okay. A spray bottle like that at the dollar store should be $1. That's why they call it the dollar store. At least that's what I think, but if you take that bottle, and we're going to use my little magical cup here, and we fill 1/10 of it with fish oil, which you'll find in Asian shops, well, you can actually find it at Whole Foods, I think, fish oil. You can, I'm sure you can. Find it at Whole Foods, or olive oil, which you can find anywhere.
Oh, wow.
1/10 of it with that, 2 tablespoons of baking soda, the rest of it with water. Shake it, spray it, should take care of if you have nasty infestations of bugs, should take care of it. For those of us that are Buddhists or Jainists or something else, ists, or real harmonious with Mother Nature and the land, if you're getting caterpillars, flick them on your neighbor's yard. Let's talk about butterfly gardens and vegetable gardens. Most of the ladies, yes?
I just want to back up. With the fish oil, is that different than fish sauce? The
Yes,
chicken
it's
packet?
completely
Yeah,
different.
Completely different.
Yeah, it's an oil,
Yeah, okay.
like cod oil, and.
You can get it at Publix.
Can you?
Yeah, I
Okay.
bought some.
Fair- I don't go to Publix for like 15 years. but
So
I'm a hater. On the,
So what are you saying to spray this on your plants?
Yeah, let's write onto your plants to take care of bug problems.
Whitefly, this is
Yeah.
not racoons.
Hold on, bear with me.
We're building it.
All right, baby steps.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Does this take care of fungus?
no. All these questions that I'm getting, whitefly, fungus, blah, 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 blah. 20th Street, was it for the ag extension agent? They're gonna have a shirt that looks a lot like this, trust me. Except it's gonna say whatever the hell county we're in, what county? Indian River instead of Palm Beach. And they're gonna talk to you, and there's not gonna be one guy or gal, there should be a couple of them. And they're gonna confer with each other after looking at your particular plant and your particular bugs under microscopes and not give you an off-the-cuff answer. So I would implore you to do the right thing and go see those people if you're having very specific fungal problems or bug problems. But for the vast majority of the bugs, that little chemical solution that I told you is something that they concur with. That would be something all master gardeners would go, yeah, that'll work.
But not
Everything that I'm saying in general is in concurrence because I happen to be one of those people and we're supposed to only say things that all the PhDers have spent hours and days and weeks and months deriving answers to. Yes,
You work at the extension office?
What's that?
I do volunteer at Mounts Botanicals Extension office in Palm Beach. I am a master gardener. So I have to donate, that's part of the gig, right? 40 hours a week, a year, I'm sorry, 40 hours a year. You have to, sell your soul to community service that pays zero and give people advice and walk them through it and talk them through it. And I got a bug in my tree and could you bring that in, ma'am? And then the dog, and could you please bring that in? There's all kinds of wildness.
For the rest of your life?
I'll probably do this for the next several years. It's a passion. I like it. I mean, I've done everything else.
No, I mean, do they have a cutoff of how many years you have to do?
No. As a matter of fact, I was just at a thing and they're talking about there's a guy they're getting ready to award a 40-year service thing to.
But is there a requirement, like?
Well, yeah, here's how I'll do the plug for the Master Gardener thing for the state of Florida, for my peeps, my homies, my green people. The Master Gardener course is held in every county except 3, and it's the loser counties up in the north part of the state where nobody lives, that nobody's in, that they don't have a Master Gardener program. You know which ones I'm talking about that are out in the middle of nowhere. And which one? Yeah, exactly. Some of those, but you're like, somebody lives out there, and those counties. But short of that, you go for 16 weeks for 8 hours a day, like on a Wednesday or on a Tuesday, and they'll tell you what it is. And you go for 16 weeks, and you sit there and listen to them talk about. First of all, they give you a plethora of material, like this much in books, for $200. They talk to you for ever, 16 weeks at 8 hours a day. And they'll teach you about things that you probably don't have an interest. What I learned about being around other master gardeners is everyone has their own. There's the orchid person, there's the Florida native person, there's the palms and cycad person, there's the I'm into Chinese herbs, I'm into Indian herbs, I'm into everyone's got their own, I'm a raw vegan. You start seeing everyone's little banners that you didn't know even existed, some of these things, and that some people in those banners have spent an awful lot of time and have a really deep set of knowledge about their thing. And so it was great because, I don't care about grass. I'll tell you that. It's overrated as far as I'm concerned. Ditch it. If you can't eat it, I'm all about edible landscaping. Ditch it as far as I'm concerned. But some people care a lot about their grass. And you know what? We had the old guy that lived inside Bellagio that came down from New York, and 18 years I've been here. And he's all about the grass because he's the condo guy that lives on the thing. And all I heard about was grass from him. But I was surprised he actually knew an unbelievable amount of information about grass of all things. And I just sat there like,
Was he a golfer?
I don't know. I never asked him, but he just went on, and I sat back and I'm like, for God's sakes, we're talking about grass. And I didn't even know there was all these things about grass, and he knew every kind of grass and what its shade tolerance was, what its water requirements were, what atrazine does on it or doesn't do on it, and I'm like sitting there going, you, sir, have more free time than anybody I know. So, that being said, you've got the 16 weeks of 8 hours that you're going to end up donating right off the bat. Before you get out of that 16 weeks, you have to have donated already 40 hours of your time. So you're already in 16 weeks at 8 hours a day, and you need to find a whole nother work week worth of time to donate. Wasn't a problem for me. I mean, we're in June, and I already have 150 hours of donated time between January to now.
Do you get rollovers?
You get rollover minutes. I like that. I don't know. I never asked that. I'm one of those people that are going to have it no matter what, because I spend a lot of the time I spend with the kids at the schools counts.
Back to my question, you were saying about the 10% fish oil, 2 tablespoons baking soda, and the rest water. What was that for? Because I heard something about raccoons.
Bugs. We're still on bugs. But then, what a master gardener comes up to, let me wrap that real quick and we'll go back to bugs, okay? That's for bugs, period. Bugs, period. Just write that in bugs.
Is it that around, you're saying spray the outside? Or?
No, I'm saying spray it directly on the plant. It's oil and baking soda and water. It's not going to kill the freaking plant, trust me.
But not in the heat of the day.
Right, yeah, that's a good idea, because the oil will turn into a magnifying glass and fry the hell out of your plant. So,
In the early or the late part, not the...
you understand that?
I'm a little bit confused. I don't understand how we went from the box to now the plant. I thought we were talking about the box and it attracting vermin.
No, we're not talking at all about...
I thought that's where we were, and
No.
then I don't know how we got to that. I must have missed something.
You did. This lady over here asked about
Raccoons.
raccoons in particular, and I said, it's a great segue. Let's start with bugs and we'll get to raccoons. So we're still on bugs. Let me finish this real quick thing with the Master Gardener thing, and then we'll go right back into bugs, I promise. And there won't be any exorcisms, nobody will be spinning their heads, and it'll all be good. So you've got the 16 weeks, 8 hours, you've got 40 hours you gotta donate, 70 your first year, 40 every year thereafter. It's a nice thing if you're gonna spend your time and your money or whatever doing something. Of course, I'm gonna say do it with plants and do it with the Master Gardeners, and part of the mission is to spread the good word. And
It's too bad they don't add organic in there,
well, it's funny because if you look at my little video of Alexandra's box, it says Eco Master Gardener, which is what I would consider myself. Not just a Master Gardener, I am more an Eco Master Gardener because I like harmonious systems that work
That's
environmentally
what
straight.
you would be an instructor for that in their program.
Precisely. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to be teaching them for the ones in Palm Beach.
Maybe,
I will
yeah,
be
then the other counties will get that too.
teaching that at the Master Gardener program on the next thing. The extension agent actually asked me to do that a couple weeks ago. So, that being said, going back to the bugs, that little mixture is just for bugs if they're coming to your plant in a raised bed, in pots, in the bag, wherever the bugs are coming. That's a nice little mixture to handle that. I said, in your particular case, whatever particular fungus or particular bug, if it keeps reoccurring, take that to a Master Gardener. They're in every county, and 3 of them will sit down under a microscope and figure exactly what the hell bug that is that you might have, because you might have something bizarre like a Sri Lankan weevil that just showed up or something. I mean, things come in every day. So I'm going to implore you to take it to them instead of spitballing answers at you and go through the process that we go through. Now, raccoons, possums, and that's real easy. There's not a whole lot of gray area. they're gonna pick your fruit. Do you know when they're gonna pick your fruit?
Right before
The day before you were gonna pick it yourself is when they're gonna pick it. That's exactly when they're gonna get it. The next, you went to bed going, you know what, I'm gonna go get that tomorrow, and you're excited. And you go out and it looks like there was a freaking war on your plants, and you're like, I'm gonna kill someone or something pretty quick. And you may be a total pacifist, but it's enough to get you fired up, trust me. So, I had this issue several years back, and I was sitting in a 2-story on second wind floor in the master bedroom overlooking. I stayed up until 2 in the morning because I was damn sure it was a raccoon. And I'm like, okay, so I'm sitting there and I'm waiting. My wife thinks I'm on crack, and she's, you know, like, you got issues, and I'm like, okay, I got issues, but I'll wait for that raccoon. And then, you know, he showed. And I'm like, okay, so we had a little conversation, and, you know, I'm like, you can't do that, you need to be nice. And he wasn't listening, so I go, okay, we're going to resolve this one way or the other, but I'm going to win. So either you're going to be dead, or you're not going to be dead is what we're negotiating at this point. So started doing some research, talked to several of my buddies, looked in these books that I read, and IFAS has it on their stuff. Thai chili peppers are about this big. And they're brutal hot. I mean, like nuclear toxic hot. Okay? So, I mean, they'll burn your hand to the touch. Take that, grow it. Grow your own. Grow a little bush. They get about this big, and they fruit thousands of those little things when they go to fruit. And get the fruit, wear gloves, wear goggles so you don't do something stupid like touch your eye with that on you're going to wish you were dead at that point. And you take that chili pepper and you dry it out. And you go to Walmart and buy yourself a $12 coffee grinder, the little coffee grinder thing, right? And you pulverize it, wearing goggles again when you're doing that. And that same bottle, not the one that's got the fish oil, you got to get a second bottle, okay? Fill that 1/10 with that espresso powder that's ground down to like the fineness of, it's Thai chili pepper powder, but to like the fineness of espresso powder. 1/10 of the bottle with that, the rest with water, shake it up, spray it over it. So I did this, and I didn't want to kill the raccoon, because raccoons need love too, I
Did you
imagine.
spray it up the soil or?
Right onto the plant, all over the plant. Doesn't change the flavor or the dynamics of the plant or anything like that, or the fruit or nothing. What it does do is what I just said it will do. If you touch your eye to it, or your hand to your eye, you're going to wish you were dead. So I'm up in my second floor on round 2 of this, waiting for that thing to come show up. And that thing got about from the wall behind you, well, from you to this wall, away from the box, and the wind must have shifted. That wind blew some of that dust at that raccoon, and you'd think I smacked it in the face with a bat, because it just started freaking out. I mean, absolutely freaking out. And the problem, they're not stupid.
Right.
If you keep burning your face every time you go to get the food, you're going to find another source for food.
I have a question.
Yes.
Would that be a good payback to fire ants?
Would that be a good payback to fire ants? That's, I don't know if that'd be a good
I think we should
payback.
try that.
That I haven't really given that any thought, but yes,
So if it blows on the raccoon.
it'll blow on you.
When can you get the fruit without getting?
That's a great question.
I mean,
And if it rains, it washes off, so you got to go right back out there. What you're going to find out is animals do what I just said they do. Once you've got, it's like the kid. You let the kid burn their hand or hit their hand a couple times, and they stop touching hot things. You don't let the kid put their hand knee deep in the fire. But sooner or later, the raccoons will learn, and they will not come to engage your food, because your food is associated with
And when
a
one
lot of pain, not a little bit. It's always miserable pain. So then after a while, what you're going to find out is they stop coming to your garden. And these are things you've got to work through. I mean, I can tell you this, and it's easy enough to say, but you need to kind of experience this. It's like, you know, if I told you standing on top of Mount Everest is the greatest thing in the whole wide world, or sitting at the bottom of the ocean with a rag in your mouth and hanging out and looking at all the fish and the sharks and the rays swim by and everything, you're not gonna know unless you do it, or skydiving is the closest you're ever gonna feel to heaven. You know, unless you go and jump and at 12.5 and feel the wind doing that noise through your ears, it's pointless to tell you about it unless you start experiencing some of these things.
Could you line the perimeter and not actually put it on your?
I imagine you could, so why don't you try that first and
I'm
call me and email me and tell
I'm
me
a
how.
waitress and a researcher, I don't have a farm.
Okay, well, you don't need a farm, you don't need a lot of space. How much space did that take up? Right? Not much. So that will lead me to, did that answer your thing?
I didn't quite get.
Well, once again, I said, now we're in the rainy season, you're going to be doing it all the time. But what you're doing it for more than anything is to do the conditioning thing that I'm telling you so that they stop engaging your food and start engaging someone else's. A butterfly garden, and I imagine some of you who's got a butterfly garden? Okay, wow, I'm stunned. Usually with a group like this, half of your hands would normally go up, but...
Could we back up to the chili pepper thing? Just one. I didn't quite get, you make the powder, you put it in the bottle with the water.
Yeah, 1/10 of the bottle with powder, and then fill it up with water, shake it, and spray it.
No oil, no baking
No
soda,
nothing, just rock and roll.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Directly on the plant?
Yes?
Can you spray it on the vegetables or fruit themselves?
Yes.
Or just, and the same thing with fish oil, you spray it directly?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what about butterfly gardens?
Butterfly gardens are no-nos. They're pretty, they're great, I get it. That's exactly it. At a certain point in a butterfly's life, it's a caterpillar and it'll chew the hell out of your garden voodoo quick. I mean, they will wipe out your garden in one night while you're sleeping, so.
Snails.
You're gonna run into a lot less of these problems. Let's instead of going through all the master gardener answers to every single question of every single bug and every single pest in particular, let's start with a overall broad concept. Let me leave it at that, and the rest of you are going to have to figure this out with dealing with your actual extension agents and your own yards.
And plus some of your books had those things.
There you go. The right answer all the way around is, if I have to fight someone or something because nature has made that so, I'm going to pick the weakest, sickest person to engage because I know I'm going to win, right? Okay. Mother Nature is very much that way. The healthier your plants are, the less disease and the less bugs, bad bugs you're going to have, because you're going to be eliciting good bugs to be coming. They're going to want to be there. The bad bugs aren't going to show up. Diversity is going to help you significantly inside your garden. I mean, these are real right concepts. So a lot of these individual problems, most of them should be minimal at best. When I say that, I am not exempt from the realm of life of Mother Nature or anything. It's not like on the perimeter of my thing I've got archangels with shields and swords and spears defending my realm of my garden. You know, I'm not divinely, you know, gifted like that, I guess, in my garden. So I'm subject to the same things you are. I don't have any special magical wand.
I think you do.
No, I don't.
Because the salt that you said that came from the seaweed, salt actually kills slugs.
Well,
You're
yeah,
not
to dry
gonna
them
have
out
the
in
slug.
a heartbeat. You're not going to have the snails or the slugs, right? So, but then you're going to have, if you're using copious amounts of it, too much salt, which will kill the ground.
Right.
So, I mean, these are fine line balance things that you're going to have to figure out as you're working your garden. While we're on that, for $8 at Home Depot in the garden section, $8 or $9, there's a little meter. It's about this big, and it sits on two prongs that look like the prongs that for a thermometer that go inside a turkey. Okay, and that little meter is a trimeter. It's a trimeter, pH, light, and moisture. $8. I strongly suggest you do that. But what you're going to find out with your $8 little toy that you just bought is after 2 or 3 cycles of this, you won't use it. You'll know. You'll be able to feel the ground. You'll be able to look at it. And you'll be able to smell it after a while. I mean, if you start really doing these gardens like I'm talking about, I mean, you just walk by and go, that's too dry, that's too wet, that's too, you'll know your plants. Plants will talk, you know, like the horse whisperer or dog whisperer or whatever. Plants will freaking talk to you.
While
I
you're
mean, when their
sleeping.
leaves are wilting down and they look like hell and they're like, please give me a little bit of water, please. I mean, you know, give it some water. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you should be able to see some of the problems a mile away on some of this. Going back to tomatoes, tomatoes are a water pig. I mean, they are going to suck the last drop of water off planet Earth. I swear to God, it'll be a tomato that does it. So, on that note, dealing with this bucket scenario that we were talking about, I want you to envision that bottle, that one bottle that we keep picking up, okay? Sorry, you're the magic person today. So,
It's a quart.
okay, it's a quart bottle and it's got the bigger lid, right? So if you took that lid and you punched with a ice pick, like 5 or 6 holes in it, and you flipped it upside down, you stuck it into the water, into the ground, the water into the ground, it would slow drip like one of those little rabbit things that the rabbits lick, the water into this thing. So because tomatoes are such water pigs, and I have my system all on, God, you guys are great. Because everyone usually does, I don't know. Right, I'm on automated irrigation. I'm not telling you to do something I'm not doing. So, what do? Do I turn the drip up really crazy to handle just the tomato and like over irrigate all the rest of my stuff? Or do I do my irrigation in line with everything else, and then I know the tomato's not getting enough water, so I put it in an earth box where it's already got a secondary source of the water wicking up. It's got a little bit of drip coming in as well, and believe it or not, I can even take one of them bottles and shove that bad boy in there, and it's still not getting, it's like the perfect amount at that point. I've got 3 different sources of water coming into my tomato boxes just to deal with the tomatoes because they're such freaking water pigs, would be the easiest way to say that. Also, tomatoes like a cooler climate thing, and there are tricks you can do. I mean, if you find that certain plants have certain dates, now I'm going to say something that is not in accordance with being a master gardener. I'm going to teach you one of those forbidden secrets. It's a trick. There are a lot of tricks. You can give plants chemicals, fruit trees, chemicals to induce them to start producing fruit, to go into fruiting. So that's a trick. Do a lot of growers do it? Yeah, sure. If it's normally $5 a pound in season, it's $9 a pound out of season. So if you can get your tree to produce the fruit out of season, you're going to make a ton of money off the same tree. And a lot of growers do that. It's not something I necessarily concur with. I'm just telling you that that can be done. Other trick is, for those of you that aren't from here, that are from up north or spend any time up north, well, how many of you ever seen or heard of the concept of a greenhouse? Right? Well, it's a total trick, right? What you're doing is tricking the plants into believing it's the middle of spring and nice when there's 4 feet of snow outside of the greenhouse, right? You've literally tricked the plant into believing it's a different season than what it is. Well, we could do the exact same thing here by putting it in a greenhouse that's got a little bit of ventilation and fans going and a little bit of cool air. Or if I took that bottle and put it in the fridge, put it in the freezer, and let it turn into a block of ice and shoved it in there, it would think it's a completely different season than what it is in the middle of 90, 100 degree weather. Did you all catch that?
Just by putting it in the soil?
Yeah, just by putting that frozen bottle in there,
With
because now it's changed the temperature of everything around it, right?
With holes or just solid?
You have holes in the cap.
Okay. Cool. Well, you could be discussing a totally different.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's the same bottle.
So you're feeding it ice?
Yeah. You've now just changed the temperature of the entire thing, though, right? To
No,
believe.
you've just changed the temperature of the soil.
Right.
The water that the tomato plant needs.
For about an hour, though.
For about an hour, which is enough.
Like for
You don't have to make it all the time. But let's talk about a different greenhouse. There was some dude in the 70s that was a hippie, and hippies were great because they were usually educated, that decided to do the whole living off the grid thing and prove that the whole world could be done without whatever, and went to a place called Montauk, Pennsylvania, and set up a greenhouse about the size of this space, this corridor right here, okay? And what he did was he put bales of hay waist high around the front. On the sides, he took them all the way up, and around the back, he took them all the way up. Then he came in one row, and he got those old olive oil cans, the square ones, the rectangular ones, and he filled them 9/10 with water and 1/10 with alcohol. You've just now made antifreeze water, so it won't get frozen, right? And he painted them red and blue. White is the most reflective color. Black is the color that absorbs heat the most, right? But it also dissipates heat the quickest. It gets rid of the heat the fastest. So when the light goes away and it turns dark at night, even though those black cans absorb the most heat, they're going to burn that heat really quick. And studies have been done to show that red and blue absorb really well and hold and retain heat really well. So he painted all those cans red and blue and stuck them up on that back wall. They had glass coming down the front, and they had some of the worst blizzards ever that year in that region of the country, and it was 120 wind chill factors, snow everywhere, consistently month in, month out, and it never went under 72 degrees in this guy's thing, and no heat, no light, no anything other than what I just said set up. So you have to know when that was done in the early 70s that there have been series of other hippies and eco freaks out there that would have nothing better to do than set up something like this to see if it worked and let it rock and roll. It will work. Some people here know I'm going to New York in a couple weeks, less hopefully, to go set up a hydroponic farm of plants. I'm using a very similar system because this is out in the middle of a county that's an hour and a half north of New York City. They have no light. I'm running the pump off of a solar panel, just so you know, out of a rain barrel. They have water capability, but no electric capability. So I've got to get that water to circulate. I'm running it off of a solar panel, and I'm building them a greenhouse very similar to what I'm talking about to make this all work for them in their specific application in upstate New York. If that makes sense and helps. So those same kinds of principles can be turned right back around to work in the middle of the desert where drip irrigation comes from. It was invented by an Israeli in the middle of really forsaken land. It's a freaking desert in Israel, right? Except the very north part falls into the Fertile Crescent. It's a desert. So, of course, drip irrigation coming out of Israel makes total sense to me. It's a freaking desert. They don't have a lot of water resources to be playing with, and you still got to feed everyone and grow food and everything else. It makes total sense to me that it would come out of somewhere like that. They're thinking outside of the box in their box. I've got these set parameters of it's hotter than hell here, and it's sand. How do we get stuff to grow? We have limited water. How do you do that? Drip irrigation. Came right out of Israel, just so you know. There was another thing.
You were talking about, well, before that, you were talking about the frozen water in the soil, but.
It's the same thing. You're just reversing the concept of it. The last thing I want to talk to you about, not really the last thing, is there's three things I want to talk to you about. One would be, we've now talked about aquaponics, which was the fish and the fish crab going through the plants and cleaning it, etc. We talked about hydroponics. I am not a believer in hydroponics, so I do not put perlite or cocoa coir or vermiculite as my medium for the thing. I put compost in there, and then I don't put a chemical 18 element chemical solution that's water soluble in my water, I put my tea coming out of my rain barrels as my fertigation. Fertilizer inside my water, fertilizing as I irrigate, fertigation. And that's what banner I fall under. That I know that my plants are getting plenty of nutrients without any crazy voodoo or magic, and I didn't have to consult a witch doctor to make it all work. And that works for me very comfortably without a whole lot of stress. That being said, we've talked about putting them in raised beds, we've talked about doing them vertically, how I said put them in bags. Last thing I want to talk to you all about is concepts of aeroponics. And aeroponics, if you look at, oh my goodness, page 7. The left picture is vertical. The left picture is exactly this. You see how much stuff's growing on that? Just in case you were wondering what can grow and how much and what it looks like. Okay? Right. Yeah. I know it's a little confusing to see it and you're seeing white boxes and then you're like, oh, there's actually stuff there. So if you look at the right picture, that is a standard setup for horizontal hydroponics. Okay? Do you see how that box looks, that white box that's there? That's growing lettuce. Those are all lettuce, by the way. Okay? You see how that box looks, the actual container for the hydroponics? That long rectangular thing? Okay. In the hole that you see there is where the plant goes. If you put another box down below those boxes, they're all interconnected. If you put one a little bit lower, and do you know, like Vicks Vapor Rub, that it has a nebulizer and it creates a little mist in the room and you're supposed to feel better and all that? Okay, so if you put a nebulizer in that closed box, it's feeding into these long tube boxes, and you put nutrified water, which would be your tea compost again.
When you say nebulizer, do you mean something like a humidifier?
Mm-hmm. It creates the fog,
Okay.
the smoke. Okay, but if the water that you put into that humidifier was already nutrified, was already coming out of your rain barrel, it was tea of a sort, right? I mean, it had all the nutrients. It had the worm piss. It had the seaweed that's broken. Go ahead.
Well, that's a good point. Do you put compost in your rain barrel too?
A little bit. I do. I'm a pig about the first barrel. I mean, that first barrel gets so much abuse. I pretty much throw anything in there, including the neighbor's kid. So if you've got all that nutrified water, and you take it and you put it in that bottom box, so if we've got a whole bunch of tubes running, just like you're seeing on here, running across like this, and then I put one little container, this big, below it, and I turn the machine on, and in that is water that is nutrified, it will create a fog that will come up into all these little tubes, and that fog is nutrified, and it will actually grow plants across all those things. That is aeroponics. I do that application 1 in a million. It's more a circus show. If you want my personal opinion, do you gain anything as opposed to the other ways? No, I would be stunned if one of you asked me to put that together for you. It's more for amusement purposes. I'm just telling you it's out there as a way to do it, and I don't find it any more productive. How many of you are vegans, raw vegans, or eat sprouts or anything along those lines? Hands?
Do you like eat sprouts ever?
Yeah. Are you sure you're not a Californian?
No.
So all right, so, okay, let's talk about this for a second. Okay, keep breaking this as I'm moving it. You see how I have that set up? There's not really much to that, right? If I told you that is probably one of the simplest, most straightforward, brilliant things I ever saw in my life, and thank God a friend of mine turned me on to it. If you take fabric that's coarse, I had somebody tell me that most fabric has fiberglass in it, and we'll go through that the last time I said this, so that I'm saying it.
What about hemp?
That's what I,
fabric?
it's funny that you say that, because that's exactly what I said. What you really want is something that's got more like a yarny or a woolly or a hempy kind of rough texture to it.
Like burlap?
More like a burlap. And you just set this out like this. You see, we're not utilizing a whole bunch of space, right? That doesn't take up a whole lot of space. You run the fabric over it, and you pour billions of your seed sprouts, sprout seeds all over it. Then right down the middle of it, you run one of my little mister drip irrigation. There's one of those heads that's a mister, creates a little mist. So you start running mister heads through this little tunnel that you've created, and it mists the back of the fabric. Since the mist is already nutrified water, because I believe in fertigation, it's coming out of my rain barrels, it already has all the nutrients that the little sproutlings want. Okay? You're not digging this.
No, so
You've got the look of confusion, so let's cover it.
I'm curious, you're pouring the seeds on there, or are they already sprouted when you pour?
I'm pouring them onto the fabric. That's why
It's
the
like
fabric
chia
has to be rougher to just let the
Is
seeds stick onto
this
it.
like a chia pet?
It is like a chia pet. It's
I
exactly
saw
like, what an
that- I saw
excellent
this on-
example.
I saw this on roofs in Minnesota. They're actually doing this and they're selling the material that you're talking about for very, very inexpensive.
There you go.
If anybody.
I would believe that.
Yeah, they're doing,
In
they're
Minnesota.
putting crops on top of the houses.
I would believe it.
In
So-
Minnesota, at the Arboretum for the University of Minnesota.
Fair enough. I didn't know that. So,
Yeah, I
even
just
though-
got back from the Midwest Extension Composting School from Minnesota.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'm not from California.
you're from Minnesota.
No, I'm
Oh,
from
okay.
Florida, Vero Beach, Florida.
Okay, I'm gonna
I
have
grew up
to
in
move.
Oslo.
Fair enough. Okay.
Do you keep reusing cloth?
It's a second form of aeroponics.
Okay.
So the first aeroponics was having a nebulizer create a fog to go up through those tubes of nutrified water, and that fog